So the spring real estate market is already getting into swing and you've been thinking about taking advantage of the seller's market. What are some things that you should expect from your listing agent this spring when you list your home for sale? Stick around, we're going to get into that today. Hey, what's up guys? It is your realtor Nick Isgro with eXp Realty here in Central Maine. Now, as I just said, today we're going to go over my top 7 things that you should really expect from your listing agent when you're trying to get your house for sale this spring or into the summer market. Pay particular attention to number 3 because it is one of those things that I see unfortunately happen not so great time and time again, and it is the downfall of a lot of relationships between realtors and their clients, so you won't want to miss that. Now, before I go any farther, I do want to welcome you here to the channel if you've never been here. Here we discuss all things real estate here in the state of Maine, particularly in the Central Maine market. If that is of interest to you and adds value to your process, whether you're buying or selling a home here in Maine, go ahead and please give this video a like. Hit the subscribe button, knock that little alarm bell, and you'll be notified every time I put out new content. All right, now jumping right in here with the number 1 thing that you want your listing agent to do, and to do it well, and that is price the home correctly. Now, I've done a video on this before about how we do the comparative market analysis, but the CMA is really only the beginning of the pricing strategy when it comes to pricing your home properly for the spring. Now, of course, we're going to pull comparables and we're going to be able to show you and walk you through how we come up with the estimated range. And that's important to know, it's always a range and not one specific number that we think your house is going to be best marketed in as we're looking at the other competition in the market. But the strategy should also involve several other things, and that includes what other current listings are there on the market in your current price range, in your style of home, in your particular area. What price gaps might there be when you're looking at the current competition on the market? What listings are expiring, because that's going to give you a good idea of what's not selling and what's not working, and what direction is the market headed in. At the end of the day, there's a lot of factors that go into the final price that you want to put your home at, and the realtor should be able to go through each step of the process with you so that you understand and are really an active participant. Because one of the things that a lot of people don't always realize is that you, the seller, are ultimately the person who decides what price the home sells for. It's not the real estate agent, it's not the numbers in the paper. Ultimately, you make that final determination. Our job is to give you all of the tools, all of the data, and the best professional recommendation we can to make sure that your home is marketed to get both the highest price possible in the quickest amount of time possible. It's a little bit more art than science, and so you really want someone that can walk you through the entire strategy and that you're going to connect with and mesh with as a team, because you will make that final decision, but you need to make sure that you have the tools available, and that's going to come from your listing agent. Right now, the second big thing that your listing agent is going to do is hopefully market the heck out of your property. Now, it's easy in a seller's market like today to just be lazy about it and say, hey, look, we're going to list your home, don't worry, it's going to sell in a couple of weeks. However, that's not what you want, because you want your home to really outshine the rest of the competition no matter what kind of market you're in. So you want to talk to your listing agent about different things like who's going to be taking the pictures. For me personally, I've come to the conclusion that I'm just not a photography professional, I'm a real estate professional. So I like to hire a professional photographer. Usually that's going to include drone shots and things like that, but the photographers who specialize in real estate photography tend to know a lot more about what better shots are going to look good and attract people into your home without lying, without modifying the photos, but really giving a good, honest depiction in the best light possible and the best angles possible, so your home just looks phenomenal compared to a lot of the other listings, because a lot of people aren't taking professional photos when people are looking at the original MLS or sites like Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com, and things like that. But what other strategies do you want when it comes to marketing? Certainly, you should ask about social media marketing. Everybody's online, everybody knows social media marketing is the main core of business generation in the world today. But unfortunately, a lot of people just don't really understand the tools that are available to them when it comes to social media marketing. Yes, you can go on and click a button and boost a property, and that's gonna show it to a bunch of random people. But what about custom built audiences? What about people that we know are probably gonna bring in leads? One of the things I'm able to do oftentimes is sit down with you if you want and show you specific advertisements that I've run, and to show you that I actually am able to pull in leads that I can follow up on with emails and phone numbers. Those are all potential buyers that might be interested in your property. Video tours are something that are becoming big and that you definitely want if you want to stand out among the rest of the competition. Video tours are great. It's something that you can put on your own social media after you have it. It's something you can spread around. It gives people a really great sense of what the property is going to look like if it's done professionally and it's done well. Of course, when it comes to social media, you want to be across all platforms, not just Facebook, but Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Pinterest maybe even. Wherever people are looking for homes, there's a time and a place for the proper advertisement to get to the right potential buyers for you. Because ultimately, we want to get your home in front of as many potential buyers as possible, but we got to know who we're advertising to as well. All right, so I'm going to jump now into the third responsibility that your real estate listing agent is going to have when it comes to the sale of your home. And this is where we find the make or break of that relationship between you and the realtor, and that is communicate properly. And I can tell you right now that every time a survey is done, the number one complaint that realtors get, both from clients as well as their peers in the industry, is poor communication. And those agents that don't communicate properly get a bad reputation really quick. First of all, the seller needs to know what's going on with their home. One of the things that I always like to do is touch base with my clients at least once per week, even if there's no activity. If there are listings, we want to make sure we get you that feedback as quickly as possible. So every time we can get feedback on a showing, we want to connect with you and let you know what that feedback was from that other real estate agent who showed the home. They're getting the feedback from their clients. They often will add a little bit of their own feedback. If they're not giving the feedback, you want an agent that's at least going to attempt to follow up with those showing agents and ask, what was the feedback? Can you tell me anything about what your clients thought of the listing that you just looked at? If there are no listings in a week, then one of the things that I like to do is contact my clients and just go over the general market, talk about what happened in their specific town market for that week, show them some other listings that are either still on the market, what the competition is, what listings went under contract during that time, what listings might have sold, so we can at least keep each other up to date and everybody's on the same page when it comes to where we are with the status of getting this home sold. Because the last thing we want is to have you, the sellers, sitting there wondering, what the heck is going on? I haven't heard from my agent in 3 weeks. The other people that your agent needs to communicate with are other agents, the buyer's agent. If you're under contract, you definitely want someone that's going to get right to that buyer's agent, get them any information they need, the title companies, the title attorneys, whoever needs anything, the banks. You want to make sure that your agent is right on top of it. And the more they're on top of it, the less you're going to have to be on top of it as well. So there's a lot of things that go into selling a home. It can be very stressful. We don't want communication on our part to be a stressor for you. We are actually here to take all of that stress off and say, hey, don't worry about it. We're going to handle it. Phone calls should be returned same day. Text should be returned same day. Emails at least by the next day, less than 24-hour turnaround on the emails. So make sure that when you're talking to your agent, you just discuss what your expectations are up front when it comes to proper communication so that you don't lose any ground as you're in the process of going from listed to sold. All right, the fourth thing that your realtor is going to do when selling your home is a really quick one, and that's make sure that the buyers are qualified. And that is anytime that we're receiving offers on the home, you want to make sure that that agent is asking for the pre-qualification letter or the pre-approval, which is even better, from the bank, so that when we're reviewing offers with you, the seller, you know that each and every one of those people at least has a good chance of making it to the closing table because a bank has said, yes, we're willing to do business and take a bet on this person. We're willing to give them a loan in X amount of dollars, whatever it would be. The more specific, the better. And you know that you're likely to at least get that process started and get through to the end of the sale. Moving along right to number 5, the fifth thing that the selling agent should do when listing your home is negotiate the best terms possible for the seller. And this is really important because at the end of the day, we work for you. This is what we get paid to do. So we want to make sure that we're helping you and guiding you and fighting for you to negotiate the very best terms for what you want. And if we think that you want something and you might not be going for it, you want an agent that's actually going to nudge you in the right direction and say, hey, listen, I'm going to go to bat for you here because I think we can do whatever it is that you're looking to have them do. The agent should always have your pocketbook in mind, not their own, and do what's right for the seller to make sure that you get from start to finish without any problems. And when we do that, we're going to have a lot more success both as agents and you as a seller. So that's really what you want to make sure is that you have somebody who's going to really get in there and fight for you and negotiate the best terms for what you want. And I always tell this to my clients, whether I'm representing a buyer or whether I'm representing a seller, is, hey, listen, I work for you. At the end of the day, I'm here to advocate for your interests, not anybody else's. So let's talk about what you want and let's see what we can do about getting it. All right, number 6, you want your selling agent to attend the appraisal and be in good communication with the appraiser of your home, because a lot of times it is the real estate agent that's going to have that little bit of edge to talk to the appraiser and talk about any features and benefits, any of the additional new additions or home improvements that you've done, because those little things might seem small to you, but when you add them up and you explain it to the appraiser and you point out the things that have been done to improve the value of the home, those little things can make a big difference in the eyes of the appraiser. So you want to make sure that your agent is speaking to the appraiser, is showing up at the appraisal, and having a good discussion about the home that's in question. All right, the last big thing that you want your selling agent to do is make sure that they're finalizing any loose ends when it comes time for closing. Now, I will say there's a lot of things that agents work on, like final water and sewer readings, getting the power switched over, things like that, that really title companies, at least that we work with here in Central Maine, often have really taken the burden off us. But we shouldn't count on that. So you want to make sure your agent is in constant communication as you get closer to closing with both you, with the buyer's agent, and with the title company to make sure that all loose ends are getting wrapped up and contacting you when need be and taking care of things as need be to make sure that everything goes smoothly so that you have less stress once you're approaching the closing table. All right, guys, so there it is. That is my top 7 things that you should expect from an agent that is going to be listing your home in the seller's market. If you are in the market to sell a home, or if you've been thinking about selling your home, I would love to hear a comment from you below. What has your experience been? What has your experience been talking to other agents, talking to other sellers? Or what are just some questions you might have? Put that in the comments. I promise I will get back to each and every one of those. And as always, guys, I just want to remind you, my name is Nick Isgro. I'm with eXp Realty here in the Central Maine region. If you have any questions at all about anything, whether from this video or not from this video, as it relates to real estate here in this market, shoot me a text. My contact information is available. Give me a call, whatever you need, whatever's easiest for you. I will get back to you and be happy to engage with you and answer those questions. As always, I appreciate you sticking around to the end of this video, and until next week, I'll see you next time.